if I could have a moment. We found this sum of money, which is a large amount, and belongs to Mr. Arnson. I think it is fair to entrust it to your care.
What with this woman?
Well, this seems all right then.
As long as I
take
made my
good
money.
care of you. You'll see, my love.
About
And
Arnson's
then he
place,
dies.
there was some disorder left there. If you could be a good man and set things right.
You can count on old Champagne for every little thing. Now that's a fact.
I can see
Set
our
what
friend
right?
is in good hands. We better hurry, Watson. I see our ship is making ready to leave.
Shit, get to the boat! A Cthulhu idol on a ship. I'm not confident. What the fuck? Whoa. What the hell? The fuck is Holmes doing?
Watson, I have told you several times now, I am not to be disturbed.
But Holmes, you have been locked inside your cabin for all
And
of
you're
4
doing
days
some kind
now.
of weird
Outside, the
fucking
sun is simply
seizure
radiant,
dance.
and the wind from the sea.
If you approach me, Watson, I will throw you out. Now, leave me.
Oh,
Blast it all, Holmes! I am bored. I can't take these sailors' conversations for another
their
minute.
cocks just can't match
We have an
yours.
understanding, Watson. Each to his purpose. I will look to the translation of the book. You are to study the figures written out by our young friend Davy. Now, get on with your task and leave me to mine.
But you know that these enigmas
is
are
such a
not my
bitch.
strong point. Wouldn't you have some other task, which is better suited to my skills, Holmes?
There isn't any
Of
cooking to be
course,
done.
You're a man of letters, after all. So, return to the bridge, take your trusted notebook, and apply your mind to editing this small writing.
Agreed. On what subject?
It is my monograph on the calculated trajectories of gull excretia. Good day, Watson.
Ooh, pwned. And the door closed on its own. Watson just becomes more and more of a bitch, doesn't he? Oh, yeah. Take it, Watson.
I see we have received a message, undoubtedly from my brother Mycroft.
I've still got hurt feelings. Oh, bloody hell. I'll try and read it. Sherlock, you should receive this letter from your return from the Americas. Your instructions were followed to the letter in Switzerland. I believe you will find the results satisfying. Several days ago, the Swiss authorities inspected the Black Edelweiss Institute and found evidence of serious breaches of established medical ethics. In total accord with your findings, Dr. Gygax was also found and detained. Unfortunately, he had a man named James Moriarty wrapped around his throat. Unfortunately, before anything could be learnt, he took desperate measures. He had hidden a small but lethal dose of potassium cyanide on his person. Before he could be stopped, he swallowed this poison and died immediately. Oh well. I'll get over it. His employees denied any knowledge of the doctor's murderous activities, and the evidence supports the conclusions that they were merely employees carrying out his orders. We were just following orders. No trace was found of the Hindi. However, your friend, Superintendent Bilger, informed me that during their search of an underground level of the Institute, his men discovered a blood-splattered well. Oh yes, I remember that place. Just before the fraps cocked out. In this room, they also heard reported hearing a strange maniacal laughter that appeared to be coming from the bottom of that same well. The superintendent thinks, as I do, that the sound was shouting of the patients gathering in the hospital square. His theories were due to the odd acoustics present. This sound was distorted and appeared to be originating from that foul well. Why didn't they just look down it? I must say I completely agree with his reasoning and mentioned the odd report merely to appraise you of all the facts. You should also know that since its discovery, that dreadful room has been condemned and permanently sealed. Although most of Dr. Gygax's documents were destroyed before the arrival of the Swiss police, a number of accounting references survived. They were adequate to trace the series of suspicious transactions. Even the famed confidentiality of the Swiss banks has their limits. Nazi gold. What I learned, though seemingly fantastic, is quite probable. It seems that Dr. Gygax had laid his hands on a goodly portion, if not the entirety, of Lord Rochester's lost treasure. You may recall the story. Lord Rochester, the infamous London billionaire, married an American woman. Always being led astray by those American women. They had but one child, a lad named Archibald. After the boy completed his education and achieved his majority, he travelled east to take charge of his father's interests. In addition to his holdings in England, Lord Rochester also held a number of jewel mines in India. At the end of 2 years, Archibald had accumulated a fortune in gemstones, all of the highest quality. The best of these were placed in a chest which he took with him on a ship bound for England. Then his fortunes turned. Neither he nor the gems ever saw land as a dreadful storm sank the ship near the Indian coast. Only a few of the ship's crew survived. The bodies of the rest were pulled from the sea with one notable exception. Not a trace was found of either Archibald or the famed chest. And the tragedy took a far greater toll. Lord Rochester was devastated by the news and died soon after. Grief-stricken, Lady Rochester returned to her family home in Boston. She herself died not long ago. What was once a noble family is now gone. What you might not know is that Archibald Rochester had the stones carefully documented and inventoried before he boarded the ship. I was fortunate to see these very documents recently. Oh, how convenient. Comparing the particulars, I can say that the utmost confidence is some of these same stones, presumably at the bottom of the Indian Ocean abyss, have astonishing surface in the middle of the Swiss Alps. Plate tectonics and all that. I was unsuccessful in uncovering exactly what facts led Amos Colby, the Northwood Agency operative, to that area, but you may know more about this subject than I am privy to. Sincerely yours, Mycroft. Oh, by the way, I just told James Moriarty all your dirty little secrets.
Indeed. But
Just
the
so you know.
possession of such a treasure is an end in itself.
Sherlock reference.
Why the
Ooh.
devil go through with such an elaborate masquerade?
Money is often the motive of the basest acts, but not in this case. These
We
are
in
deep
dirt
waters indeed, Watson. These people follow some other dark purpose, so desperate that it justifies any sacrifice and great risk.
You frighten me, Holmes.
I know,
Just
sometimes
generally.
I frighten myself. Enough
in the
of
mirror and
idle
go, "Ah!"
speculations, Watson. I asked you to study the figures drawn by young Davy. No doubt they are some cipher. What do you make of them?
I could not figure out heads or tails. Map coordinates?
Your intentions are good, my dear Watson, but you have missed everything
I
of
know there's a map
importance.
thing involved, I think. Apparently, what it was is that there's a long list of numbers, and it's 1 to 9, and then when a number repeats, you divide them up, and then you have to figure out which number is missing from 1 to 9 in all those numbers, and then you have to write those down. So this is what the answer is, apparently. There we go.
Indeed, they are open to but one possible meaning, even if it eludes me at present. As for my own enigma, I have failed to penetrate the secrets of this
I
book.
got it all sticky,
The
but yes, I
language is
failed to
archaic,
penetrate it.
and my own modest knowledge of ciphers is sorely tested. I have succeeded in drawing forth only insanities and other absurdities. According to this book,
It's the
if my
Twilight
translation is
series.
exact, if one makes this mark with human blood, and then with conviction recites this illuminating verse, Gnah, Kudwalliam, is hert sblöhe. The victim
I can
is
just imagine the
mesmerized,
voice
or
actor
demons
just
leave his
going.
mind. I tell you, Watson, this reads like complete gibberish. I do not know what to
Jesus.
make of it.
Holmes, get back.
How did you say it? Gnurth Kudwa...
You're useless, Watson!
These drawings. What a horror. I tell you, Holmes, this book gives me great unease, as does almost everything to do with
definitely
this affair.
Twilight.
I just recalled, Watson. Didn't Barnes, the bookseller, tell us he had studied ancient history? Perhaps he might help us with the translation of this book.
No,
We
I don't
must-
think he did tell
we
us that.
must seek out better minds, for we are at a standstill. I have not the slightest idea where they could have taken these people and what consequences await them. Let's take our leave and see if Barnes might be of assistance.
Okay. Ugh. Let's go, shall we? God, fuck. Watson, why were you pushing me from behind? Not here, not now. Later. Killing Tempest. That fucking slacker paperboy. Oh no, I'm going the wrong way. Oh, fuck it, we'll just skip. Not going to the docks. I've had enough of the docks. Come on, Mr. Lonely.
Mr. Holmes, Dr. Watson, a real pleasure to see you. I say, where have you been? You've stayed away for some months now.
Yes, well, we were looking through the
Indeed,
window and we
took a
saw
very
you
long
get your
journey and barely made
strain
it back.
again.
However, we have more
didn't really want to
important
come in
matters
after
to
that.
discuss. Didn't you say you have some knowledge of ancient people, their language, writings, and customs?
Indeed I did, Mr. Holmes. Why do you ask?
Indeed, I don't remember you saying it.
You are just the man we need. I ran across this esoteric text during our travels and wondered if... Is there something wrong, Holmes?
Mr. Holmes, wherever did you find
It
this?
belongs in a
This book,
museum!
It is worthy of a museum.
If you could be so good as to translate some of these fragments for me, I would be in your debt. I am particularly interested in these pages here. They are in the poorest condition and therefore appear to be the most used.
They are the stickiest of the icky.
With pleasure. I will get to work straight away and keep you informed of my progress.
Are you done?
My word, this book contains powerful language, like some dark magic. Dreadfully impressive. I will send word as soon as I am done.
Must we wait? Is there something I can steal? Apparently I could have seen those earlier, and that the reason he was meant to be in a state was because of the scuffed leather on there and these dead plants that he fancies the woman who sells the plants over here. But they've gone now. She's gone. She's disappeared. I'm gonna nick her flowers. Okay, I've just read I'm now on track to the final location of the game. We've just got to do a couple more things in London, and we do have to go down the docks again, but only briefly. Oh, now he's back, the Workshire git.
Strand!
Drained!
Strand!
Drained!
3 ships still missing at sea. All aboard feared lost. Get the strust. Get the strand.
Get the
Latest
strust.
word on the missing ships.
Give me the latest edition. There's a good lad.
Thank you, mister.
Storm of the Century. Hang on, let's see how many pages there are. Oh, there's not that many. Oh, very clever. Inspector Clouseau. The Colossal Tempest Storm of the Century. The Colossal Tempest, many are already calling the Storm of the Century, has taken hold of the Scottish and Irish coastlines. It's been raging for these last 2 weeks, and officials are alarmed by signs that the storm is intensifying. The Spanish Armada that's planning on sailing through there is a bit worried. Witnesses report that the winds are increasing and waves higher than 40 feet have been spotted. The storm is taking a terrible toll in shipping and the lives of seamen. 34 ships have been reported lost, and even as this article goes to press, several hundred lives hang in the balance as seamen struggle against the raging elements. Sadly, the Royal Navy Rescue is presently forbidden to launch any search parties due to the dangerous conditions. Yeah, fuck those other people. Until the storm lifts, those lost at sea may only have fortune and faith, which may carry them home. Well, they're fucked then. The one ray of hope is the majority of lighthouses remain in operation. The roads leading to them are largely underwater. Oh, okay, sorry. I thought that means that's a bit weird, building a road underwater. And their occupants, the guardians of our coast and the sailors' last friend, are manning their posts bravely, though they remain cut off from the world. Her Majesty the Queen held an emergency meeting with her ministers about the crisis along our coast, and it was learned that similar phenomena are occurring around the world. An extraordinary quality of the tempest is that it's savaging our waters, as that it appears to affect the weather around the world, creating similar storms everywhere. Reports from continental Europe, the Americas, Africa and Oceania all speak of rapidly deteriorating sea conditions. Some scholars speculate that the force and direction of the currents around our coastline is amplifying the effect of these waves in the ambient seas. However, according to the same scholars, a worldwide effect of this magnitude would be the first of its kind. French police spotter. Undoubtedly, the French police are always late. Oh, just the casual jingoistic racism of the British press. It is in its unbridled case of the mysterious burglar A.L., Arsène Lupin, setting up for the next game, whose exploits we have followed with great regularity, the police have struck on a significant obstacle. There's being the victim's unbridled admiration for this canny thief. A rich and well-known eccentric heiress was recently robbed of a fortune in gems. Their value is estimated to be several hundred million francs, so about £5. The regional authorities have placed her estate under close watch, as they quite rightly regarded it as a prime target for this notorious thief. Last night a shadowy figure was observed scaling the wall, crossing the grounds, entering the residence. The policemen closed their trap neatly with an entire brigade standing as the reinforcements. They charged the manor, throwing the household into a panic, and rushed the heiress's private rooms. She met them in her nightdress and perkily announced that the theft of her jewellery had just occurred. After several minutes, rather long ones, she explained that she showed the burglar an ancient secret passage in her room, through which he escaped and skillfully avoided the police. She has now been arrested for aiding and abetting. The passage led to a nearby train station. The shocked civil servants took their leave without saying a word, rejecting the light meal prepared for them by the lady of the house. No doubt it would take more than a few croissants for this lady to persuade the Assure company to pay her the value of the stolen gems. Oh dear.
Watson, consider the news of all these missing ships. I have an idea, but it will be necessary to secure a chart for the Scotland coast and nearby seas. No point in asking Barnes. I have no desire to divert his attention from the
Contract
translation.
mind, you see.